Next week on Monday, I'm doing another vinyl giveaway, of course. So I'm about to go through all these vinyls right here and pick out the coolest ones. Let's get together, yeah. It's a Monday. It is 100 degrees here in Arizona. And I'm sitting outside in a long sleeve shirt. It's weird how I've started to have a totally different perception of what like heat means. I used to like not even be able to be near 100 degrees outside, but now I'm like, oh, I'll just go sit on the porch. What? I could actually explain that and talk about that way more, but what I really want to talk about is our wedding. It was 3 years ago, and this weekend on my podcast, I am doing a list of 5 things that we did / I did for the wedding that really helped my mental health and that were just beneficial overall. I was so determined just to make sure that it was a peaceful experience and a joyful experience, and that it was not something that had me frustrated or miserable because I was working really hard to please other people. But I also wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that became such an obsession and such a high stakes event for my own needs or wants. I shouldn't even say needs, I should say wants, that I stressed everybody else out and that I ultimately stressed myself out. So I had a lot on my mind, but it ended up being great and peaceful, and I'm really happy about that. So that'll be this weekend on my podcast, the Jamie Grace Podcast. You can get it on Spotify, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. And if you're like, come on, man, that's Saturday, that's a whole week away, like practically, then you might want to listen to last week's episode too. This past Saturday, I did an episode called Boundaries, Saying No, and 27 Dresses. There's a movie about weddings called 27 Dresses, and I talked all about how to say no, how to know when to say yes, and how both of those things are represented in that film. So if you like these kinds of conversations about film and TV and other pop culture things like weddings and how our brains and emotions are affected by them, you should definitely be listening to the Jamie Grace Podcast. I'll go ahead and spoil a little bit of this weekend's episode, but one thing that I did was have 18 million people in the wedding party. We had so many brides and grooms. No, that's not true. We had so many bridesmaids and groomsmen because I love humans, and there are so many different humans that I have gotten to grow with and connect with over, the course of 20 something years. At the time we got married, I think it was 26, 27. And I couldn't imagine having a wedding and being like, okay, well, here's the 1 or 2 people that I want standing up there next to me. It's like, no, it would make me feel so good to have a bunch of people in the wedding, even though other people are going to look at this and say, why are there so many people in your wedding? And I mean, this is maybe a little awkward thing to say on the internet, but even though some of the people that were in the wedding have since, had celebrations of unions, and we've not been in their weddings as well, that wasn't the reason for it. I didn't have people in my wedding with the expectation of like, Ellie, you better help me in yours. The reason was for me. It was a choice for me because of the impact that they had in my life, in my singlehood, and in our relationship as a couple. Like, oh, this person really inspired us or encouraged us. And so it was really special to me to have an abundance of humans up there. And I'll talk about that a little bit more on Saturday's episode. I did the thing. I was out here. I'm going back inside now. By the way, this is our full wedding party right there. That was definitely not our entire wedding. I literally said that, and then right after I was like, wait, there were flower girls and ring bearers, and there was a literal like 40-person choir. I'll talk more about that on Saturday, but also here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, because on Monday I'm gonna do If Jamie Grace, that's me, produced the soundtrack to The Parent Trap. I did a movie night for The Parent Trap a couple of weeks ago, and Facebook was like, why would you do Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan? That's not the real Parent Trap. I love both Parent Traps, just so you guys know. Please don't be mad at me. I really do love both of them so much. And so this coming Monday is a little bit more about like the old school Parent Trap and what I would like for that soundtrack to sound like if I were the one that produced it. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see that. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate your support and all that kind of stuff. Subscribe and comment and all those things, and
because we stuck together.